So it looked like Caitlin Clark teammate Sydney Colson just broke her silence about the Las Vegas Aces and her transition to the Fever basketball team.
Did you hear about the latest in the WNBA? Sydney Colson didn't just leave the Las Vegas Aces, she chose to leave behind the two-time champs and join Caitlin Clark in Indiana. This wasn't a trade or a cut, it was entirely her decision. The Aces' dominance is starting to unravel right before our eyes. Colson was their defensive powerhouse, their team leader, and the key player holding everything together. Now, she's bringing all that championship experience to the Fever. The shift in power in the WNBA is something we've never seen before.
I knew it was only a matter of time before Sydney Colson got to rubbing her hands together like Birdman to tell it all, dog. And that's exactly what she did in a recent interview.
Can you picture the look on A'ja Wilson's face when she found out Sydney Colson was leaving? It wasn't just disappointment. It had to feel like a betrayal. This wasn't just a bench player walking away. This was Wilson's right-hand teammate, her go-to person in the locker room, the emotional rock through 2 championship wins, suddenly deciding to head to Indiana.
Sydney Colson came over to the Fever from the Las Vegas Aces. Now, about a month ago, the stars were starting to fall for the Las Vegas Aces. Their team was getting derailed every damn day.
The wildest part? Colson wasn't traded or cut. She chose to leave. Let that sink in. The player A'ja Wilson saw as the heart of their locker room decided to walk away, even when everything seemed perfect on the outside. What does that say? Something serious must be going on behind the scenes with the Aces that we're not seeing.
Kelsey Plum is gone. Sydney Colson gone. And a handful of others, dog. Well, it looked like Sydney Colson could be the first one spilling the beans about it all, man. About her transition coming over from Vegas to Indy.
Think about all those inside jokes, championship celebrations, and the moments when Wilson relied on Colson during the toughest times of their title runs. All that chemistry that made the Aces seem unstoppable, gone overnight. And the timing? It couldn't be more suspicious. Just when everyone was predicting a 3rd straight title and the Aces seemed set for another dominant season, Colson jumps to their biggest rising threat.
Colson chats with Boardroom about her decision to leave the Las Vegas Aces and join the Indiana Fever, the current state of women basketball, what she's been up to in the content game, and much more.
You have to wonder, what did Colson see in the Aces locker room that made her walk away from more guaranteed championships? Players don't leave dynasties unless something's seriously off. And this isn't the first red flag. First, Kelsey Plum gets moved, then Kate Martin leaves. And now the emotional leader of the team decides to walk away? That's no coincidence. It's a pattern.
Sydney Colson stated it was a variety of things. There was a new coaching staff. Amber Cox was a big part of that. Kelsey Mitchell, I played with her for the first 3 seasons. Joanna Bonner and Natasha Howard are players I respected from afar.
For Wilson, this isn't just losing a teammate. It's losing her emotional support system. Colson was the one who kept morale up when things got tough, the player who knew exactly what to say in those critical moments. And now, she's leaving all that behind to join Caitlin Clark on a team that hasn't even proven they can make a deep playoff run yet.
And Kate Martin, my teammate from the Aces, obviously good friends with Caitlin Clark. They play together at Iowa, and she speaks really highly of her. And obviously, we saw the rookie year that she had. So her, Kelsey, and Aaliyah Boston, they had something special the second half of the season. And I just look at them as a young, hungry team.
Aces fans are in complete chaos right now. Some are already joking that Indiana should just be handed the trophy because they get what Colson brought to the team, things that never showed up in the stats. Her defensive intensity, her leadership, and her ability to keep everyone, even superstars like Wilson, accountable. Those qualities can't be replaced.
It was just an exciting opportunity. My time with the Aces was wonderful, and we created history in a lot of ways. And they'll always be my Aces family, and I'll miss those fans and everything. But I felt God was leading me in another direction.
The stats might say 2.5 points per game, making her almost invisible on paper. But when 2-time champions fall apart over losing her, and a rising team celebrates like they've hit the jackpot, something doesn't add up. What is it about Sydney Colson that makes her worth so much more to the Fever than her career scoring average shows?
I don't fault Sydney Colson. Sydney Colson's going to get her a ring, bro. She went from winning championships, and now she finna go back to winning championships, bro. She better be known. She's trying to win a ring, bro. She got the hell out of Dodge, went over here to the Fever, and about to get another damn ring. I don't see Sydney Colson leaving. I see Sydney Colson in a long-term piece with the Fever, dog.
The answer lies in those moments you never see in highlight reels. Remember that key defensive stop in the finals 2 years ago? That wasn't just luck. It was Colson's basketball IQ and ability to perform under pressure, flipping the game when it mattered most. The Fever didn't just sign a player, they secured championship insurance in human form.
Judging off her resume, she don't strike me as somebody that's going to come and go like the 1 year rental. I don't think Sydney Colson is going to be a 1 year rental. I believe Sydney Colson is going to be arguably a franchise player. You know what I'm saying? I think she's going to stay and rock this thing on out with Caitlin Clark and win multiple championships, bruh.
Indiana already has the star power with Clark and Boston, but what happens when the shot clock is winding down in a playoff elimination game? When the other team is on a 12-0 run and the crowd is deafening? That's when Colson's experience becomes priceless. She's been in those moments, made those clutch plays, and knows exactly what to do when everyone else is losing their composure.
And for Sydney Colson, she ended up coming off the bench in Game 4 and played 14 minutes. And so that's way more than her normal minutes per game. And she was working on defense. She committed 5 fouls, and she did her job, which was really to make it tough for the Liberty guards to do their thing on offense.
Think about what happens in those crucial moments when Clark gets double-teamed or needs a break. Now, the Fever have someone who makes winning plays without hesitation, a floor general who's been through the championship grind and knows all the hidden challenges. You can't teach that kind of experience. You have to live it.
Colson came her personality and some of the other stuff that she is known for on social media. And she must have had an Instagram live, because I think that's where this bit came from, where some fan asked her if she would be starting for the Indiana Fever.
Sid, you starting for the Fever? Yeah, I'm starting on the bench. I love a good bench joke.
For Clark, having Colson is like having a championship guide when the pressure builds and the critics get loud. Colson can pull her aside and say, "I've been in this exact moment before. Here's how we handle it." That kind of mentorship is priceless, worth far more than any stat can show.
Funny comment, good attitude about it. She is content to come off the bench. No delusions of grandeur or anything else, especially when you know who you're going to be backing up and the like.
But Colson's most valuable contribution might be what happens behind closed doors during those tough mid-season slumps when the team's energy is low. She's the one keeping the morale high when practices start to slip, the one demanding excellence when the stars begin to get too comfortable. She's the accountability enforcer, always reminding everyone that the only thing that matters is winning.
Now she's with Aaliyah and Caitlin over the top picks the last 2 years. Does she see similarities there? And she said, it takes time to build when you're getting players when they're young. A lot of people want to rush championships, but it's not something that happens overnight. It's a long process of figuring things out together. Sometimes you have to lose a lot. You learn through the losses and the wins. You make it to the semifinals, you lose. Sometimes you have to get lucky and that doesn't take place. But it'll help to have vets that come from winning cultures who understand what it takes to not get too high or too low in this league.
Look at what the Fever are building. It's not just about stacking talent. It's about creating a winning culture from the ground up. Colson is the key to keeping everyone focused. Through the long, grueling season, she turns good players into champions, elevating those around her and making everyone better simply by being in the gym.
Sure, and we have a nice core group of young players that are hungry to win and are going to put in the work. Last year, the Fever started slow, is the question. Caitlin and everyone started figuring things out, and they made the playoffs. You know, with vets and like yourself in place, how do you make sure you're on point from jump? And she said it'll be a much easier transition. And now they have a year under their belts together, which will be scary.
This new Fever culture is impressive, but championships aren't won in the gym. They're won in those final defensive moments when everything's on the line. What most fans don't realize is that championship teams almost never win without a defensive specialist who can change the game without scoring a single point. When you look at Indiana's roster, they were just missing one key piece until now.
But it was one of those moves that enhances the team's depth, and Colson was a winner with the Aces is a perimeter defender, can shoot the ball, and brings a degree of edge and toughness and tenacity on the floor.